As a cat about town, you need to get your skills up. There are friends to make, fights to win, and hedges to jump, and also watch out for passing bikes as you cross the road. This is Kyoto no Neko, which was designed by Cedric Millet and published by Neko, who helped sponsor this video. Well, my cat has some exploring to do, but before we wander town, let's learn how to play Kyoto no Neko. Kyoto no Neko is a family game that takes around 30 to 45 minutes where players will be taking on the role of curious cats as they explore the town, gain skills, and put them to the test, all in the name of growth and earning medals. Each turn, you will move your cat throughout the town, discovering your environment by revealing paws, which will give you possible actions or things you need to react to. You are in search of medals, which can be acquired through completing certain objectives or by befriending animals or successfully hunting and fighting. Losing a skill check is never ideal, but you will always learn from your failures and gain skills to help you in the future. But before we dive into all of that, let's go over the setup. To begin, place the double-sided central area board in the center of the table. Use the standard side, which shows a symmetrical board. If you're familiar with the game, you can use the asymmetric side, but we'll stick to showing you the recommended first game setup. Next, place the 4 neighborhood boards around the edges of the main board. You will use all 4 boards regardless of the player count, and these also have an advanced side to use for future games. Shuffle the paw tokens and populate the various spaces of the board as shown. Note that no paws will be placed on the road spaces, nor on the home or terrace spaces of any neighborhood boards. The 16 central spaces and 6 other spaces of each neighborhood board will receive paw tokens, and all tokens begin the game face down. Place the 2 dice, the enemy defeated tokens, and cherry trees within reach of all players. Next, find the 2 bike pieces and place them on the road. Each biker will be placed 3 spaces behind the white arrow, and both bikers will be placed to circle the board clockwise. Place a deck of bike cards nearby. Place a scenario board nearby and place the 5 mission cards on it. These missions are all based on living your best cat life. Now it's time to set up your player area. Kyoto no Neko comes with convenient storage boxes and envelopes for all game elements, and this is where you'll find all of your player pieces. Take a matching kitten and place it on the terrace space of the neighborhood board facing you. Next, take a kitten sheet using the beginner side along with the corresponding skills sheet. Place skill counters and a stamina counter on the spaces showing dots of your color. Next, find the 7 medals of your color. Place a medal on each of the 5 mission cards on the scenario board. Now place a medal on the indicated space of your home space, and on your kitten board, place the last medal here to the right of the victories tally. Lastly, look on your kitten sheet near the kitten's name to determine where to place your skill counters to begin the game. Each kitten will have slightly different beginning skill levels in the 4 areas. Once each player has set their skill markers, choose a player who most recently pet a kitty, and they get the Koban first player marker. You are now ready to begin. And that is how you set up Kyoto no Neko. Once this game is underway, players will be moving their kitten around the board, discovering what these paws have in store for them. They will provide many challenges for these growing cats, and they will need to use their skills in agility, friendship, fighting, and hunting as they try to collect 5 medals first. There are many ways to achieve your goal, so let's go over how a turn plays out. Your kitten begins at home, but they are ready to venture out into the neighborhood in search of friends, foes, and more as they explore around. Each player's turn is broken down into 3 possible phases. First, a player can move their kitten. Kittens will always move orthogonally from space to space. The amount you can move is dictated by the kitten's stamina, which is shown on the kitten board. Whenever you come across a face-down paw token, you must reveal it. Paws can be ignored, and your kitten can keep moving unless that paw shows a red background. These paws require an immediate reaction of a skill check, and if you fail, your turn is over. If there are multiple such reaction paws, you must react to each one of them before continuing on. When you land on a space with an opponent's kitten, you can start a fight if you wish. Winning fights is one way to gain a medal, but these require a fighting skill check. If you choose not to fight, your opponent can choose to start the fight instead. We'll talk more about how to conduct skill checks in a moment. Note that there are hedges and roofs throughout the board that will block the ability for a cat to move at first. Once you gain a high enough agility, however, kittens can simply jump over such obstacles. The minimum agility required to hop over a hedge is 4, while a roof requires 6 or more agility to get over. Finally, the biggest hurdles kitten must deal with is crossing the road. As soon as a kitten enters a road space, you must draw a bike card. Each bike card shows both colors of bikes and a number of spaces they will move between 1 and 6. They will always move clockwise around the board. If a bike space moves onto or through a space with a kitten, that kitten must react even if it is not the controlling player's turn. This will be an agility check. When conducting an agility check, first look at your kitten's current agility skill level. You will then roll a skill die. This number will be added to your base agility to see if you have succeeded. On each bike will be an agility objective that you must meet or exceed to be successful. Succeeding to this reaction allows you to continue your turn as normal. If you move into another road space, you will once again have to draw a card to move bikes. Once you choose to end your kitten's movement, they can take an action if an action paw is present. These paws will show 1 or 2 actions on them, and multiple paws may be present in the same space as your kitten. You may only choose 1 action to do each turn, however. As we've mentioned, your kitten is looking to gain skills in order to complete objectives and earn medals, and each action you take will test your kitten in one of the 4 areas. Failing means you don't get to progress toward your goals. However, failure can be a great time to learn, and each time you fail a skill check, you learn from your mistakes and your skills grow. When taking an action on a paw, you will see several things. 1 or 2 icons at the top of the paw show you skill objectives. The icons at the bottom will show you what happens if you fail fail the skill check. There are 4 skill types: agility, friendship, fighting, and hunting. Each skill type has their own symbol. The number within the symbol shows the level you must meet or exceed in order to succeed in overcoming the challenge. If the skill check fails, the icon at the bottom of the paw that is below the icon of the challenge you attempted will be what happens. This will either cause the paw to move or the kitten to panic, making them move closer to their home space. When a paw moves, the player next in turn order must move the paw equal to the number shown on the icon. They can ignore any normal movement rules such as hedges, roofs, and roads, and multiple paw tokens can share the same space. When the kitten flees, the icon will be shown in red. Again, the next player in turn controls the kitten, moving the indicated number of spaces toward their home space using the quickest possible route. Again, movement restrictions are ignored, including not drawing a bite card if the kitten enters a road space. Note, however, that a kitten cannot end its movement in the road, and the controlling player would move the kitten additional spaces toward its home until it is no longer in the road. When a panicked kitten is moving this way, they also cannot end their movement in a space with a face-down paw, a reaction token, or an opposing kitten. Failing a skill check isn't a complete bust, however, and anytime a kitten fails a skill check, they move their marker 1 space up the matching track. Players rely on their kitten's base skill levels, but they will also roll a skill die. This will potentially add to a kitten's skill level, but note that one side is a critical failure. This instantly fails the skill check, and this die must always be rolled even if a kitten has a requisite skill level without the die roll. However, a critical failure allows you to raise your skill level by 2 instead of 1. The 4 skills will help you achieve many different objectives in your race to earn medals. Agility checks will mainly be used during movement as reactions to bikes and reaction paw tiles. Agility checks can be used as well to climb a cherry tree to gain more information about your environment. If you exceed at looking at a cherry tree, you can look at 3 face-down paws anywhere on the board. Keep this information a secret. Failing an agility check means you must end your movement and your turn, and you will advance on the agility track. There are other types of skills, however, and you can use your skills in friendship to make a new friend. If you succeed in making this friend, you collect the paw token and place it on your leftmost space of your home. If you fill the second space of your home, you can immediately increase a skill counter of your choice 1 space. When you fill in your third space with a friend, you immediately gain a medal and place it in the leftmost space on the top of your kitten board. Any additional friends gained can simply be stacked on top of the third space without further effect, and note that any friends in your home space may disappear or be stolen by other players. This won't cancel previously gained rewards, and in the case of the second space, if this friend is taken and you gain another friend later, you can re-trigger the skill bonus. However, you won't ever receive more than 1 medal for gaining your third friend. Failing a friendship skill check will gain you advancements on your friendship skill track, and the friend will typically flee. The other 2 skills are fighting and hunting. When hunting prey successfully, you will add the paw to the victories tally, which is filled from bottom to top. If you fail, the prey generally flees. As you add tokens to the victory tally, you will be able to bump a skill counter of your choice 1 space when you place your second and 5th paw, and placing a 4th paw earns you a medal. The other way to add to your victory tally is by fighting other kittens. As we mentioned earlier, when you enter a space with another kitten, you or your opponent can choose to start a fight. When a fight is initiated, first place an enemy defeated token in the space with the 2 cats. Now both players will consult their fighting skill level and each grab a die. Players roll dice simultaneously to get their final skill check level. If players draw, roll again. The losing player will advance their fighting skill level 1 or 2 spaces for a critical failure and apply the bottom of the enemy defeated token, which usually results in them fleeing. The victor gains the enemy defeated token and adds it to their victory tally. Kittens can also fight animals shown on paw tokens, and they will conduct a fighting skill check similar to a hunting check and collect the token if they succeed. And those are the 4 main skills and how you use them to do checks. Each skill can be useful for you to develop, and throughout the game your kitten will begin to grow up. So let's take a look at some of the other ways to gain medals. On the objective board during setup, we placed out 5 mission cards and placed medals on each one. Each mission represents an objective that, once achieved, rewards that player with a medal at the end of their turn. For example, this mission is to successfully climb a cherry tree. At the end of each turn, you will check this objective board to see if you've achieved any missions. For any that you have succeeded in, collect the medal from that card and add it to your kitten board. As players gain medals, all players might be affected. The first time a player earns their second medal, all kittens will grow. When this happens, all players will move their stamina marker 1 place to the right, which will allow them to move further each turn. Next, all players will increase their skill levels equal to the number shown on the space the medal is placed. In this case, 5 times. The same skill level may be chosen multiple times to be moved up. Any future players who earn their second medal do not trigger this growth. The first time a player earns their 4th medal, however, all kittens grow a final time, once again moving their stamina marker, and this time gaining 3 additional bumps of their skill tracks. Kittens will have a total of 2 simultaneous growth phases during the game. Players will continue taking turns around the table moving kittens, performing skill checks until one player adds a 5th medal on their victory space of their kitten board. The current round is completed with the player to the starting player's right taking the final turn. At the end of the game, the kitten with the most medals wins. If there is a tie, the tie is broken in favor of the kitten with the higher friendship skill, and if there is still a tie, tied kittens fight to determine the winner. And that is how you play Kyoto no Neko. It isn't easy being a cat. In fact, it requires a great bit of skill, but don't be afraid to fail or even critically fail, because that's one of the best ways to learn and become more skilled. And if you really want to dive into living like a cat, you can play with scenarios that change up the gameplay elements. And if Kyoto no Neko seems like a game you'd enjoy, be sure to check out its page at BoardGameGeek.com. And until next time, I'm Mike Murphy, and I've been here with Board Game Geek, and that is how you play Kyoto no Neko. Have a great day.